Water signs, I hope you all had a good 2022. I understand that it was rough for a lot of you folks. I don't know if it's any consolation, but fire signs, or at least Sagittarius and Aries, are going through a moment. Leo is going through a redemption arc in 2023, but not the other two fire signs. So I don't know if that makes you feeling better or not. I want to see what water signs are going to be encountering this year in terms of general themes and how water signs can handle those general themes as best as they possibly can for their ultimate highest good, okay? So I'm going to take a look at Cancer first, Scorpio second, and Pisces third, but most definitely never last. Cancer, let's talk a little bit, okay? You're all given out. You're starting anew, but it's kind of like you're being forced to start anew, and you're not very confident at all. You are so drained from this past relationship. If you were able to break things off from a destructive fire sign or someone who has fire energy in their astrological birth chart, congratulations, that was a difficult feat. But here you are starting anew. You've got some experience under your belt and you're kind of aware of how things work, but on the other hand, you know enough to know that you don't know that much about this new world. It may have been that you were married for a number of years to this abusive partner, and it's just now that you're able to get out and explore things on your own terms. It feels good, but it also, you're not sure how to feel good yet. You're not sure how to feel good in exploring your new environment just yet. So, definitely this year is going to be about learning how to give back to yourself, and it's going to be about learning how to explore your new environment with more confidence. Right off the bat, that's going to be your massive, massive theme. Let's pull out from underneath the deck. Yeah, you are going to be confronting your own personal devil this year, Cancer signs. That's basically your fears. Now, I want to point out that this is not a live, large animal. It is a skeleton. You can push it over, walk past it, but first you need to get over your fear of walking past it. Next, you have the 10 of what would be traditionally the 10 of Swords. I like the Wildwood deck in which this is. That's what this is, by the way. I like the Wildwood deck because it is so good at different kinds of imagery that feels much more appropriate to me, the reader. Okay, it's very personal. But this is the 10 of Arrows, and it's about instruction. When you are going to, after you confront your personal devil, once you push that skeleton over, walk past, and start exploring more of your territory, you are going to be an incredible instructor to the next generation. Maybe you have some kids, maybe you have some grandkids, or maybe you don't have any kids at all. Maybe you don't enjoy being around kids, but you are going to be able to talk to other younger people who maybe went through a similar situation. You're going to be able to talk to them with experience. You're going to be able to give them good advice on how to navigate their situations as best as possible. That's ultimately what we want to level you up to in the year 2023. If you can do it all in one year, great. But if it leaks over into 2024, that's also perfectly understandable. A lot of you have been through some real crises, and this year is going to be all about healing. That's going to be probably like therapy. It would probably be a really good idea for a lot of you folks. Let's continue to explore major themes that Cancer signs are going to be encountering. Let's do this. Yeah, you're going to need to go at it alone for a little bit. Now, this is the King of Pentacles, so that kind of means that you're going to be in charge of your own spending habits. And if that's a little bit scary, totally understandable. But that is something that you're going to be in charge of. If you want to buy a particular thing, it doesn't sound like you're going to need to ask for anyone else's permission to do it. You're the king of your finances. You're the king of the resources that make your physical life as comfortable as possible. So if that means redecorating your house after your partner has moved out, that's probably going to be a really nice thing for you to do for yourself. It's going to feel good to be alone once you eventually get into that groove. I understand that for a lot of folks, it's a real struggle being alone for like long periods of consecutive periods of time. You might have your kids visiting your partner on weekends or for holidays and that kind of thing. And being alone is going to be something that you're going to get used to at first, right over here, but then eventually you're going to be like, I really like this. And then the universe is going to use that like for some solitude, not completely being totally alone, but going to be using that like for solitude as a way to get you to listen to the judgment call. This is the judgment card traditionally, Rider-Waite-Smith. In this case, you're being asked to figuratively enter a tomb, if you will, and fall asleep, and that means like a spiritual sleep, if you will. You have the Big Dipper here above the polar bear, and that is a water symbol, if you will. So definitely dip into that Ace of Cups kind of energy. Get into giving, like drinking of your own emotional cup, taking care of your own emotions, saying it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel angry, or whatever have you. Being able to master your emotions, be able to feel them, not shame them, just be able to see that they exist. That's eventually what the universe wants you to do once you leave that tomb, once you answer that particular call. But you got to make that choice, okay? While you're in your alone space, you're going to have a choice to enter this tomb or not. They're always going to leave that up to you ultimately. Let's talk a little bit about some advice that will make your year ahead a little bit easier. That is the Queen of Swords there. The universe, if you choose to use this alone time to meditate on what your calling ultimately should be in terms of what you owe to yourself, your karmic debt to the universe, that kind of thing. If you do choose to come out on the other side of this, you enter the tomb, you learn your lessons, or you think about the lessons that you learned through this past relationship, and you come out on the other side a better person, you'll come outside this Queen of Swords. This person who is much more guarded about who they let pass their filter and who they choose to keep out. If you look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith version, that sword is much bigger than the queen is. And that's all about protecting yourself, and for good reason, because there are a lot of people who would take advantage of your good heart. What you have right here with the Nine of Cups in reverse, you were drained in this past relationship, almost to death for some of you folks. And here, this is about becoming this Queen of Swords who filters out the awful people and filters in the awesome people as a result of listening to what the universe has to talk to you about this past relationship. It may be that you're attracted to a certain type and the universe wants to talk to you about that. I definitely feel like it's going to feel like you're being stormed around, or the storm is dying down around you in this case. You're getting to leave your cave for the first time in a long time, and that's going to embolden you. And for a lot of folks, you're not going to want to go back into this state of being a scared little kid anymore, or this emotional state of being a scared little kid anymore. You're going to enjoy your independence, your strength, to the point that you're just not going to want to go back. Kind of what we saw over here with the first 3 cards. Once you defeat that devil, it's going to be so much more difficult to be upset by the storms of life. They're just going to be water and electricity to you, and you're going to be able to pass on those lessons to kids. Hey, storms are scary while you're in a certain stage of life, but eventually you can enjoy them for the wonderful things that they bring us. Yeah, this is a new era of doing stuff. You get to leave this cave. It's a new era of doing for yourself. Okay. So the big challenge here is to become the King of Cups. This is the Heron. So this is someone who might be a little bit too bogged down in their emotions this year, and eventually leaking into 2024, we want to level you up into the upright King of Cups, someone who is completely in charge of your emotions, who isn't disturbed once again by the storms of life. You are able to not just handle your own emotions, you're able to nourish them and not not denigrate them, for instance. Not feel like, oh, they shouldn't exist. You're able to nourish them and use them as a barometer for stuff that is going on in your mental and spiritual life. So a lot of what you're feeling might be spiritual warfare. And in that case, that's happening because the darkness that is wants to keep you from up-leveling. Earlier in Aries fire signs reading, you showed up water signs as the Empress upright. That's who you showed up as to them, to your ex, if you will. This is who the universe wants you to be, someone who has all their kings, all their queens upright. You're a complete person by yourself, and over this year, your challenge is to become the King of Cups. Doing new things is going to expose you to habits of thinking, of doing, of feeling in specific ways that ultimately hurt you. You're going to be able to break new cycles, or you're going to be able to break old cycles and start new, more positive cycles, if you will. Positive feedback loops, if you will. This is having respect for death, for the transformation. If it ever gets too difficult, or if you're ever tempted to kind of go astray emotionally, if you're ever tempted to make an immature emotional choice, for instance, the universe wants to remind you that you were brought through a transformation, death, in order to be the highest, the best quality person you possibly can be. You're supposed to reach your highest good. You showed up as the Empress in the fire signs readings, or the Aries sign reading. And you showed up that way for a reason. Don't give up now. The journey is not easy. The transformation process is not an easy one. Getting to the other side of this is not going to be easy, but it is oh so worth it, I promise. A bit cheesy, but I hope you understand, Cancer. That's enough, Cancer signs. I hope that you make it a good year. Take care. Scorpio, I hope that you all had a good 2022. We're taking a look at your themes for 2023, what you are generally going to be looking at. Also, don't forget to check out my general USA collective tarot reading for 2023. I take a look at politics, the economy, and housing and that kind of thing, what to expect in 2023. There might be some helpful things in there for you. So, Scorpio, let's do a little bit more shuffling before I get into this. I shuffle until Spirit tells me to stop. It's interesting. So the sign Aries is popping into my head just now. You might have some Aries somewhere in your birth chart, Scorpio, and that would make sense. Scorpio, I've always, when I was learning astrology, I always mistook Scorpio signs for being fire signs, not water signs, which honestly, doesn't that make perfect sense? When have you ever seen a scorpion around water? Like, they're always in the desert, right? That makes perfect. Why are they water signs? Anyway, you might have a little bit of fire energy in your birth chart. And in that case, I'm seeing Scorpio signs a need for a bit of respect for the universe's lessons coming your way. I feel like you're kind of getting bopped around. I'm going to get further into your reading in just a second. But 2023, you're going to be learning respect, basically. This is about your defenses being breached. This is the Nine of Wands, traditionally in the Rider-Waite-Smith. Upright, that would be about having firm defenses through experiences. But in reverse, that's about those defenses being breached. And in this case, it's the universe trying to teach you important lessons that maybe you didn't learn across 2022. Yeah, more fire energy. So again, you might really have some fire energy in your astrological birth chart. Be sure to double check. But that's the Queen of Wands in reverse. Scorpio signs, whether you consider yourself masculine or feminine or non-binary or whatever have you, there's some kind of aspect within yourself that is... When I think of the feminine, I think of the chaotic creative energy, and that's just kind of like loosed into chaos at this point. This is just rabbit running around, not being able to take care of itself, or it's young, for instance. This is a frantic kind of energy. And again, this is coming in from the universe. This is disorganization, this is distress. The universe is still protecting you through, for some folks, you may not be that protected at all, and you're being asked to come back to your ancestors, to your guiding spirits, so that they can protect you once again, because right now you're running away from their protection. Wow, okay. So earlier I talked about not being able to protect your kids. Here, we have an animal that traditionally is extremely protective of its young, kind of hides, is kind of difficult to track down. And here I just see someone who has to repeat the same lessons over and over and over and doesn't learn very easily. Kind of short-sighted, maybe who have some blinders around your eyes that you've put around them because you don't want to see the truth, and that's what the universe is trying to do, is trying to effectively knock some sense into you. Okay, Scorpio. Let's do one more card. Yep, breaking with tradition. So what has been traditionally effective in bringing you to heal, so to speak, and teaching you lessons, that's not working. So we're going to have to break a cycle here with the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. We're going to have to get you out of that stagnant energy because that's just hurting you in the long run. Breaking with tradition, there may be some there may be some family dysfunction that has been passed down as kind of a tradition that you're supposed to stop. You may have to break up with a significant other. You may have to break up with some blood relatives. You may have to cut them off. in order to heal yourself, in order to start listening to the lessons that the universe wants to give you. Okay. You're going to be forced to be alone for a bit, for a brief period of time in 2023, and it's necessary. Spirit has some things, some downloads that they really need to give you, and the only way you're going to get them is if you are 100% alone. With that winter kind of imagery, I'm getting kind of hermit kind of feel to it. So yeah, definitely a time of deep introspection. You're going to have to work alone. Not going to be part of the pack in this case. It's where you should be. Yeah, there's going to be a time period where you are going through a stormy period. You are going to be in a kind of childlike energy, in the sense that you're going to be afraid of the storm, of the lightning, the thunder, that kind of thing. There's still things that the universe is trying to use to help you become a better person, but you're going to have to choose to become a better person. Ultimately, you're kind of kept here for a little bit. Again, that introspection, that hermit energy, you're going to be kind of forced to not just deal with the winter storms, but with thunderstorms as well, if that makes any sense. When I talk about life, it's going to be a cold, lonely road in 2023 for Scorpio signs. The universe has you there for a reason. You need to learn lessons. You need to learn the lessons the universe wants to pass on to you if you're going to move out of that period as a better person. You can move out of that time period as a worse person if you want to, and that'll be a different read. Oh, Spirit says take from the bottom for a minute. Okay, you might see that card in just a bit. Okay, so Scorpio signs, that's Queen of Swords energy that has used words and thought patterns specifically not just to harm yourself, but to harm other people in order to spite them, in order to make yourself feel better. So it's quite possible in 2022 that there was an opportunity for listening to the universe's judgment call, which this is the traditional judgment call in Rider-Waite-Smith. There was an opportunity that was missed back there because something was said. The universe gave you a chance to say something different, and you chose to say something that made you feel good but was ultimately quite destructive to yourself and to the other person. So another judgment call is on the way, but not for a while. So that's where that stormy, wintry weather is going to come from when it comes to life being kind of shitty for you. And once again, like I said earlier about that 2023 forecast, there's stuff in that economy, jobs, housing kind of situation that might apply to you. I talked in that particular video about having to tighten financial belts, about having to break financial habits, about having to move into smaller houses, maybe even having to rent apartments, having to buy older cars, or even have to lease older cars, if you will. It's going to be difficult for Scorpio signs, I can see, in 2023. So that was on bottom. Here we go with on top. And I said we would see this earlier. Yep, you're going to be forced to do new things. That the universe still has a plan for you, but it's different than if you had gone through this judgment call and it was upright. You would come through on the other side and you're doing new things. No, this was a missed opportunity, and now we're having to do plan D, if that makes any sense. Yeah, and you're going to be suspended in this state of doing stuff that's foreign to you, that's uncomfortable to you. You're going to be suspended in this state of your environment making your choices for you, and you're just going to be kind of having to go downstream, float downstream, laying down in a boat, not even being able to row or anything like that. You are completely at the mercy of the universe, which is again where it wants you, but it's going to be a deeply uncomfortable place, even for this is a very watery card. Even for a water sign like Scorpio, it's not going to feel great. Choose to become a better person as a result of this, and you're going to be a cool person as a result of it, okay? You can come back to your sensitivities if you feel like if you deliberately got rid of them. This is a time to start to come back to those sensitivities. Maybe you haven't cried in a while and you need to cry again. While you are being ferried down a river, I guess the river Styx in a sense, if you want to take the death card to that particular point, the transformation card. Well, here we have a little bit of that death here. A choice has been made, so now it's time to mourn it. It's time to move on, so to speak, and let the universe teach you lessons. You might be really tempted to be stuck in the past here with just continually mourning the choices that you made in the past. It's okay to stay there for a little while, as long as you deliberately choose to move on, as long as you choose to listen to what the universe has to say, as long as you choose to make better choices. It's okay to stay here, but don't stay here long. Yeah. Choose to not stay there long. Grieve the stuff, move on. Let's do 2 from the bottom. You are going to find your happiness in not doing. You are going to find your happiness in taking downloads from the universe and doing exactly according to the universe. This is about not taking instructions from yourself anymore. This is about learning how to not lash out at your circumstances, because in some cases, those were circumstances sent by the universe to teach you how to behave, how to be your highest self. You will find your happiness when you learn how to be in this upright position, when to hide in your little cave and not get out even when you're being antagonized. Right now, I see Scorpio signs. You lash out at the slightest, and this is probably the closest in this deck to the Scorpion as we're going to get. There is no Scorpion in this particular deck because the animals are based on Irish mythology. But this is the closest that you can get. This is the Scorpio card in reverse, you could say. This is about learning to become the highest vibing Scorpio that you can possibly be. This is about learning to nourish your young as well as yourself, learning when to run away from a fight, to not even bother, and learning when to strike because it's time to learn to strike. That's the theme of this particular year, and that is your lesson. You will find your ultimate happiness when you are in your upright energy as the Scorpio. You can subvert the current energy that you're in right now, but it's going to take hard work. Listen to what the universe has to say. You can find happiness. Okay, Scorpio, that's enough. I hope that you have a good year. Okay, I'll see you in February. Pisces, I hope you had a good 2022. If my cards are falling over the place, it might have something to do with the energy of the Pisces. You might feel a little bit scrambled this year. You might feel like there aren't enough boundaries and you don't know how to contain yourself. You feel like you want something to contain you, but you're not sure what it is, maybe. Okay, So that is the Two of Pentacles. That's going to be, balancing your physical resources that make your physical life comfortable. So that can be money, that can be housing, that can be, I meant to say, I've done a General USA Tarot collective reading for 2023 that talks about politics, economy, jobs, housing. That might be relevant to you when you consider this particular card, okay? So I used the Wildwood deck in that other reading too. I saw that we were going to have to be really careful with our money, be cautious about our spending habits, break some spending habits in 2023 and in the years going forward, okay? So that might be something when it comes to spending habits, Pisces. Earlier I talked about feeling a little bit unself-contained. It might be that you're going to be learning about new spending habits this year, and I wish you the best of luck because money freaks me out, man. I hope that, what did I just say? Money freaks me out. Maybe I'm tapping into your energy and not mine necessarily. But folks, if you are nervous about being the kind of person to be in control of your own finances, this is going to be the year to take control of that. Get into that King of Pentacles energy and say, what can I do to cut down on spending that I don't need to spend on? What are some wants that I really, really like, that they do good things for my heart that I can have, but other things that are like low-key wants, can I let them go? What can I invest in, for instance? Like, take itty-bitty baby steps when it comes to exploring finances and investing, like stock market and that kind of thing. Crypto, if you're interested in that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone's interested in that these days. But yeah, explore your options. Just educate yourself. Take tiny baby steps and see where it goes. Now, this is the Devil here. That's the kind of energy that I kind of associate with someone who doesn't see a live animal. This isn't actually that big of a problem because if you push over the skeleton, you'll walk right over it and progress forward. So you might even ask yourself once you push the skeleton over, hey, what was the big deal? But that's kind of like the thing. That's the big thing. That's the big buildup. You're afraid right up until you run up screaming against it. You mash up against it. You smash it. And that was it. That was kind of anticlimactic, right? So Pisces, that might be you and finances this year, and it might actually be more exhilarating than you thought to take control of your finances. Okay, there might be some frivolous spending habits that we need to let go of, Pisces, in 2023, because I see here the Respect card. So the Devil is here. You can absolutely defeat the Devil, but the universe still needs to teach you lessons about how to take care of your resources, right? It may have been that other people took care of this for you, and it's just now that you're able, the power and the ball is in your court, for instance. You may have said, I don't care, when it comes to some spending habits, and that was the opposite of what the universe wanted you to say. You might have been given some opportunities in 2022 to have saved or have done something differently with your money. The universe gave you that opportunity and you chose not to follow through. And in 2023, like, the chickens are going to be low-key coming home to roost here with this card. It's a warning. You're not getting bopped, so to speak, but your defenses are definitely being rattled, so to speak, so that you can kind of defend yourself from worse stuff later on. This is about really making sure that your financial fortress, that the stuff that makes your physical life as comfortable as possible, making sure that that's all good to go. Get your ducks in order, okay? That's the Magician in reverse. You may feel like you don't have all the tools under your belt, and I can see here with the challenge, you're like, where do I even get started? You may feel like you don't have the tools, but you at least have some, and those some tools are going to help you acquire other tools. eventually, but you have to use them. Right now, I feel like you're not using that power quite yet. And it could be that this is about you gaining respect for yourself. Once you defeat this devil, that's going to turn upright. You're going to suddenly have all the tools that you need at your disposal, or it's going to be more easy to see them, right? Okay. General theme for Pisces, you've got some economy stuff to learn more about, okay? Some finances, investment, taking care of your job, maybe getting a new job, getting better housing for yourself, maybe lower cost housing. What are some other major themes that Pisces will be confronting in 2023? Once again, Spirit says shuffle them back in and do not lay them down until later. Yeah, once again, Pisces, like, your cards are flipping all over the place. I guess I'd kind of expect that with a fish sign, right? When is a fish ever, like, still and quiet whenever you pull it out of the water, right? It's always like wiggle, 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 wiggle. This is ending a partnership that's going to make you pretty unhappy. So earlier I said looking for a new job. It may be Earth. I was just about to say Earth signs. You might have some Earth energy in your chart. You don't want to move around and you're kind of not looking forward to that energy at all. Check your astrological birth chart, but there may be the possibility, Pisces, that you are going to be forced to leave a job that you really, really liked, but that was no longer serving you, and it's going to make you unhappy in the short term. Eventually, it's going to make you happier in the long term once you find out the thing that you are supposed to be in. Once again, I saw us being in a recession this year, so keep that in mind. That may be part of why you're pretty unhappy, is just that finding jobs might be difficult this year. You know, we might be breaking new employment habits, like with AI and robots replacing so many jobs these days. I'm wondering if some Pisces signs won't be affected by the rise of technology replacing human workers. Just be aware of that. Keep that in mind, okay? So you have a new opportunity through all of this stuff. I understand it's going to make you upset. It's going to make you cry for a bit this year. This is an opportunity to clear out the old stuff that isn't serving you anymore. Here we have some old bows that aren't that effective. They don't shoot arrows that effectively anymore. But at the same time, we've got 7 new bows that are about to be used, made into that. Right now they're just sticks, but they're about to be made into actual things that can fire arrows here in just a bit. This is you watching out for new opportunities from the universe. There's something about like maybe 7 applications or something like that. There's going to be maybe 7 months. There's going to be a number of stuffs for you, possibly 7, that you're going to be keeping an eye out for. And maybe that you're going to be looking through 7 different opportunities and saying, not that one, not that one, that one, right? You're going to be getting into that kind of hawk energy. That's a bird who hangs out for a long time on a branch. Looks like they're doing nothing, but in fact, they are paying close attention to their environment. They're watching out for any prey that might be easy for them to get. So this year, be watching out for any new opportunities. You do have stuff coming in, even if you are in the midst of grieving a job that you didn't want to let go of. You loved it. The universe wanted you to let go of it, though. Hey, This is awesome. So, while you are in your watch those opportunities like a hawk energy, pay attention to your Bethlehem star. I call that, this is my pole star, and I know that like Christian imagery does not apply to this deck. This is more of a deck for Irish mythology, druidism, that kind of thing. But that is about finding your guiding star and it taking you to your destiny. And I mean like capital D destiny, the place that your spirit guides, your ancestors, the universe wants you to go to. Keep a close eye on these opportunities because one of these new opportunities coming in is the one that the universe wants to use to lead you further along your journey, okay? Yeah, be sure to jump on those opportunities once you get them. I get a little bit of fire energy from this, and yeah, it's the Queen of Bows here. Definitely tap into your intuition, but once something comes in, Pisces, just take action. Start swimming toward it, so to speak, if you're going to go for that fish analogy. Go for it as quickly as you possibly can because the universe wants you to chase this. Yeah. You know what? Also, I'm coming back to how the rabbit takes care of its young. It's really good at creating nests, if you will, for their babies. They create really soft nests for their babies. That might be the kind of thing where when you pursue the opportunities that that your guiding spirits want for your ancestors, universe wants for you, you create a soft nest for your babies, not just for yourself. Running from exploitation of your home. So, the universe is trying to get you away from a dangerous situation, little rabbit, okay? And I know you're the Pisces. But for just a little bit here, we've got more rabbit energy. So honestly, you might have some more earth energy in your chart, okay? But also keep in mind, water signs, that this is the year of the water rabbit. So that might be significant to you. Do some more research into that. That is a Chinese zodiac type of thing. So look more into the water rabbit if that resonates with you, okay? But I see you if like you really need to pay close attention to the signs and synchronicities that the universe is sending to you, okay? Don't because here the universe is rattling your defenses because they're getting you away from an actually dangerous situation in the future that would threaten your family, and that is the Ten of Pentacles in this case. That would threaten your longevity. So it looks like you actually have a lot when it comes to major themes and how to deal with them this particular year. I'm going to push this up. Let's do a little bit more advice for Pisces. So this is not the time to kind of double back and kind of go into a hole, so to speak. This is the time to forge forward, like we have right here. Learn the lessons that we're supposed to. I should say, Pisces. Learn the lessons that Pisces is supposed to. It might be a temptation to kind of curl up into a ball and not leave your house, right? And I can see with this energy right here, that might be a temptation. You are unhappy. You might feel like later in the year, you don't have any tools that will help you right here because this opportunity isn't here anymore. This is not the time to put your head underneath the sand, so to speak. This is the time to strike out and look at the new stuff that the universe has to offer you, okay? Again, get into this hawk energy, not so much into that baby deer energy. They're awfully cute, but you've grown past that stage. It looks like you're going to be carrying on some traditions that are particularly important to you and your pack, so to speak. But I see you becoming the leader, kind of like the matriarch, the patriarch, if you will, of your pack. Your family, I should say. This is that Queen and King of Pentacles energy. Maybe you can create a partnership within yourself. Be both the nurturer, the creator, as well as the rule setter, the enforcer, and the person who invites in new investments. But I see see you as a person who will start new traditions within the family, maybe new spending traditions that bring nothing but sustenance, bring nothing but stability and good foundations to you right here, running away from the exploitation that may be headed your way this year with the economy, with jobs and housing. You can take your family away from that good place. You can give them a soft nest to sleep in, and yourself too. And you can also give them good meat, right? You can be the wolf and the rabbit at the same time and take care of your family. Not the time to pull back and be small, if you will. Definitely it's not the time to strike out, Pisces. We've got empowerment, and we've got joy with the Three of Cups here. I don't know if those are herons or if they're another bird. I apologize. I'll do my research. But this is absolutely feeling deep empowerment with your gang, with your group, with your family, with your squad, these are the people that you really, really like hanging out with. This is going to be a busy year for you, Pisces. I see you crying towards the beginning or at some point in the year, but I also see you finding how deep joy can be, how deep peace can be when you are happy in your environment, with your people, with yourself. So that's enough, Pisces. Be sure to check out my yearly tarot forecast for 2023 for the General USA Collective if you would like more information into that. But otherwise, take care of yourselves, okay?